Here we are at the launch ramp, and we're getting everything ready to go here. We're headed out over in that direction over there, and once we get on the water, we'll get back with you. Just remember, if you're watching this and you enjoy watching things around the Florida Marco Island area, why, give this a chance and subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you like it. Thanks so much. Alrighty, we'll get back with you. Okay, we're on the water. We're heading towards a point straight ahead, and basically Marco Island is behind us. Goodland is off to our right, which would be to the west, and we're pretty much heading southeast. And I don't know if you can see the ripples in the water. Got a little bit of a wind here, not too bad, probably between 5 and 10 maybe miles an hour. But it's a beautiful day, man. There's not even a cloud in the sky. It's just an awesome day. So we're gonna head over here and go through the big bays here, and then we will be going up a river, and that'll take us into another big bay. So we're gonna turn, and actually we'll be turning towards the southwest once we get towards that end of the river up there. So we'll get back with you here in a few minutes. Okay, we made it to that one point I was talking about. It's kind of straight ahead here. We've got the point I'm going around, and across this bay you will see another point, and that's an island there. It's a pretty big island, actually. And then beyond that there's another island, and then beyond that is Goodland, like I said. So we're going to keep going southwest, or I'm sorry, southeast, and there's another point up there, so we're going to head for that one, and then we start getting into a little bit narrow area. Off to the right up there, there's an island, and then straight ahead is, it might be an island, but it's a huge area. It goes back down San Marco Road, which is where we put in. And that land kind of runs all the way down there. There's a river that kind of runs along that road, but I think that's all man-made. So anyway, we're gonna head on up here, and you can see the wind is still blowing. Actually, I think it might have picked up a notch. We're coming up on that point I was talking about. Kind of a neat little point here. I haven't talked about the mangrove trees yet, but they're the ones, of course, that have the roots that kind of grow right out of the water. And there's one huge big one here right on the point, and it's kind of cool because you can see right through it into the next area. You don't often see this like that, so I'm gonna paddle right up here next to it. Pretty cool, I think. But almost like somebody cleared it out, because usually it's really, really dense, you know, around this type of stuff. So pretty cool there, I think. Alrighty, we're gonna keep going. We'll get back to you here in a little bit. Okay, we're in Hell's Gate River, And this isn't really a long river. It's just kind of between some bays, and there's a whole bunch of little bays in here. We'll angle around this way a little bit, show you this little bay that's right here, and it kind of goes back in there. Might have a little bit of a you know, river going up just a little ways, but usually they don't go very far. So anyway, we're going to go on down around here, and there's a passageway through this island that's on our right here, and we're going to be looking for that, and we can get into another bay area. Fisherman over there to the left, and he's in a Hobie. He was putting in at the same time we were. Put in point there. I heard him talking just a little bit. I think he had a bite, but he didn't get the fish. This is high tide in here right now, and we'll go up here and see if we can show you just a little bit of how much tide there is in the current. We're actually going with the current because the tide's coming in, so we'll stop up here and see if we can see any current. Okay, we're going to be looking at a log up here that's sticking out of the water, and we're going to be coasting by these guys because the current is carrying us. You can kind of get, if you can see the twigs and stuff in the water there, you can see that there's a little bit of a current going on. It's kind of amazing sometimes how much current there is caused by the tide. I was paddling out towards the ocean a little bit more one day. That was last year, I think, and the tide was so strong. I was only doing maybe a knot per hour. Usually, you know, you can do about 3 or 4 knots an hour, and I was just, you know, paddling as fast as I could, and I wasn't getting anywhere. Okay, we'll get back to you in a little bit. Okay, we just got off Hell's Gate there, and we came around the corner and into another big bay. There's a lot of current going through this little area that we just came through. You notice right now the water is totally smooth. In comparison to what we've been doing is we've been going into the wind. Now we've kind of turned, and we should be going probably a little bit west, but probably southwest. More south than west, though. I kind of use the sun a lot for my navigation. You know, this time of year, this is January the 23rd, I believe, and this time of year you can just, you know, see that the sun is almost always towards the south, and we are going pretty much south. It's a little bit past noon. Haven't looked at the time here, but probably 12:30, 1 o'clock, maybe at the latest. Anyway, this is a big bay that we're going to paddle in for a little while. It is kind of a big round circle that we're going to try for. And we'll head back towards Goodland and then back to the launch ramp. Okay, well, we got back into that wind a little bit, but we're in this bay here. This is called Lighter Bay, and I'm not sure why they named it that, but anyway, we're gonna go through another little tiny river up here. Off to the left, we have a little tiny island there. We'll be going by here in a minute, and we got to go around a point or two, and then we will go up a little river. So we'll be going into another bay at that point. And each one of these, we pretty much almost got to cross the whole thing to get through to the next one. This will take us around to the main entrance in and out of Goodland, which goes out to the Gulf. This is probably all salt water in here. Basically, if I haven't told you before, you have fresh water, of course, that's, you know, in the Everglades, you know, in proper area, and then you have what they call brackish water. Brackish water is where the tide comes in and mixes with fresh water, and when it mixes with it, that's when it's brackish water. And then the tide goes out, takes that water out, and next time it comes in, it'll mix with more fresh water again. So you continuously have, you know, a flow from the land to the ocean or to the Gulf, and so it continuously changes from freshwater, which we were in freshwater a few days ago on the Turner River, mainly because the tide doesn't come up that far to where we launched. Little point on that, I don't know if I told you on that trip, but the Turner River is supposed to be able to paddle all the way to Everglades City, but if you watch that one, you'll find out that that might be almost totally impossible. And for me to give up to something I wanted to do, that's pretty hard to do. So I had to give up though and turn around. Man, this is still a beautiful day. We got a couple clouds coming in. It was totally clear a little while ago. But there are those beautiful, nice white puppies. And continues to be an awesome day. Hopefully at some point get to go downwind. Right now we're still going right into it. Okay, port side is the left side. The way you can remember that is port is P-O-R-T, left is L-E-F-T, so you got 4 letters on each one. Pretty easy way to remember, except I made a mistake there. Anyway, the wind is coming a little bit off of the port side, and not too bad though. I'm guessing it's still somewhere between 5 and 10 miles an hour. Looks like we got a little island here. I think we're gonna pull in just a little bit, find a little tiny cove or something that we can park for a minute. And I did pull out Google Maps to take a look at where we were a little while ago, and it showed me that it's 12:30. Well, 12:30 means lunchtime. So when you're in this area, you're not going to have any beaches or any things like that that you can stop at. So I usually just pull in and tuck the nose of the kayak in some of the mangrove roots, and then it kind of keeps me in one spot, and I'll just stay there and eat my lunch and sit right in the kayak. I don't think when it's high tide in here you find anywhere that you could actually get out unless you want to be in knee deep or more water. Looks like I got a little shady spot right here. We'll just stop and get some lunch. I usually just have you know, water, or maybe sometimes I'll have a Coke for a little bit of energy, and I have to have gluten-free stuff, so I've got a little peanut butter and jelly bar that's made by Vans, and that's what I have for lunch most of the time. Gives me plenty of energy. You can see that we're kind of right into the bush here, so we'll get back with you in a little bit. Okay, we were having a little bit of trouble with the camera there. It wouldn't come back on. Anyway, I thought I'd show you this Vans granola bar, or not granola, I'm sorry, peanut butter and jelly bar. And there's no, you know, I'm not doing anything to promote it, but if you happen to have gluten-free stuff, this is a really, really good bar to have. So I don't get paid for anything, you know, that I'll tell you about. I just think it's a really good thing. Even if you want something that's really healthy, in my opinion, this is also very healthy for anybody that wants that type of thing. I can't tell you that they're really inexpensive, though. They're not cheap, so keep that in mind when you go to buy them. Thanks. Okay, we're going back into another kind of little river here. This is called Hell's North Gate, and we're gonna go around a few corners in here, and we'll end up in another bay. You can rest assured that I am still hitting into the current, which appears to be coming in, so we haven't reached high tide yet. We're supposed to reach high tide somewhere around 12:30, but maybe it's a little bit off today or something. So we are going against the current, but I'm going to stay out here in the middle. It just seems, and I probably, you know, don't know the information on this, but it just seems like when you're in the middle, it doesn't feel like as much current. If I paddle like along the edge, it just seems like there's more current. Now that could be because mentally I'm seeing the, you know, the river or the water going, you know, in the other direction along the limbs and stuff in the water. But anyway, it just, you know, it feels better out here in the middle. And we'll be paddling up here for a little bit. Amazingly enough, today I just haven't hardly seen any wildlife at all. The other day on the Black River, when I was on that, there was a lot of birds and stuff. but I just haven't seen it today at all. I'm coming around a corner here, and looks like we got a bunch of folks in a fishing boat. This is the first time I've really seen people in this area. I've kayaked this before, and I never saw anybody then. This is like the third group of fishermen I've seen today. Okay, we just came out of that northwest gate there and came around the corner here, and this is some of the hurricane damage from 2 years ago. See a lot of this in here, and pretty much that's facing southwest, which is where that hurricane came from, and so you can see some of the devastation. But I've seen a lot of it, I just haven't brought it up to you. And way across this bay, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a little opening over there. This is Sugar Bay, and you know, the fishermen can come in here. This is probably a pretty good fishing area. It's not real deep, but it's not real shallow either. So that's going to take us to Coon. Well, it's Coon Pass. I think it's Coon Island Pass. And there is a Coon Island out there. Used to sail that area. That's Goodland Bay out there. That's in the Gulf. And it was awesome sailing out there. Oh gosh. I just can't explain it enough that how great it was. But anyway, that's the area that we're heading towards. I guess I better put the paddles in the water and get on the way here. I doubt you can see it, but it looks like there's at least 3 fishermen over there in that area. So we'll go past them, and I just passed a couple guys on fishing, and they said they're doing very well. I don't know what the limits are and stuff around here. I'm not a avid fisherman. I have fished, but not actually haven't fished down here. I know the fishing license for out of state is pretty expensive, and of course I'm from Ohio, so I don't usually want to spend the money for that kind of thing. If I wanted to go fishing, they do have charters. They'll take out, you know, like 5 or 6 guys. Now that'll cost you probably close to $300 to go on one of those trips. And then they have the bigger boats that probably, I'm guessing, 40 people or so. I don't know exactly what the amount is. And of course that's substantially less money. But I haven't jumped on that either. Most of those companies will provide you with all your gear. You don't have to go out and buy the special rods and all that sort of thing for ocean fishing. So it is probably a fairly decent deal, but I'm just not into it that much. You know, at home I can fish in Indiana without too much trouble. A little bit of out-of-state fishing license there, but it's not nearly as expensive as down here. Also, got a lake about 15 miles from where we live, and it's called Caesars Creek Lake. Pretty good sized lake, and I know there's muskie in there. I've been told there's some walleye. I have not done fishing there though, so I don't really know for sure. Anyway, we're gonna get across here and we will pick you up over there on the other side and see how these fishermen are doing. You can always tell when you're getting back towards it. The civilization. See these crazy people on these sea-doos. Those are probably Yamahas because they got a big tail of water going across the back there. So anyway, been there, done that. There's a Kumaran right up here. Here he goes. Okay, we're coming out of the little channel there, big channel. Gonna come around the corner here and we're gonna turn, let's see, that would be probably northeast. Put my compass away a little bit ago, so. Yep, northeast. There's Goodland right straight up ahead. You see two big monster buildings there. Those are actually where they store boats. They store them on racks. And that's owned by Walker Marine. That got totally wiped out. I mean, that place was just leveled when that hurricane came through. But they rebuilt it. Must have done it over this last summer because it wasn't there last year. The hurricane was, I believe, the year before, if I remember right. Okay, well, we'll be paddling for a little bit here. When we get down closer to Goodland, I'll give you a little bit of a tour and give you an idea what the place is like there. Head over that way is what I'm thinking is like a condo, three-story condo building, and in between there you can't see too much between the marina, but there's a lot of individual houses and stuff, and pretty much all the way around this side of the island there's individual houses or condo type operations. There's a gray building up here that is like 3 stories high. I'm guessing that's some kind of a condo type operation of some nature. It's such a big building, I can't imagine it being like individually owned, but you never know down here. The $1 million house on the water is probably pretty much non-existent. So you got to spend a lot of money. Okay, off to the left here you can see the big bridge that goes across from the mainland to Marco Island. If you go across that bridge and then there's a road to the left, that'll take you over to Goodland, which is what we just paddled by. So anyway, that gives you an idea of where we're at. Basically, this would almost be, well, probably southeast of the downtown area of Marco. Marco's on, yeah, the downtown area is really more towards the middle to the, maybe a little bit on the northern side of the island. Yeah, standard stuff over there, you know, shopping centers and all that kind of thing. There is a restaurant on the bay over there. It's called CJ's. If you happen to be on that island or you get close to it, CJ's is one of my favorites. Of course, you know, I told you it was gluten-free, and they happen to have a gluten-free pasta that is absolutely outstanding. I think it's my favorite forever, for any place I've ever been. Anyway, there's a lot of cool restaurants over there. Another little tiny place is called Speakeasy that we go to. A breakfast place called Red Rooster, and that's a pretty nice place. So anyway, we're coming up here on the launch ramp. Now maybe I shouldn't even call it a launch ramp. It's a dirt ramp. But anyway, this is going to end the film. I appreciate you watching. If you have a chance to subscribe, or if you just press that like button, that'd be cool. And we appreciate you watching. If you noticed, you know, our YouTube channel says Adventure Travels with Mike and Bill. Well, Mike hasn't been on this trip. We've been down here in Florida for a month, and so anyway, we're enjoying that. And Mike's my son, and he's got to work. Too bad for him. Anyway, we'll be doing some adventures this summer, and he'll be along on those things. So he gets a little time off, so we'll have that option to go do a kayak trip. I think we're going to go up to Killarney, which is in Canada, and we're going to kayak down into the Georgian Bay area. So anyway, you know, look forward to that. That'll probably be July, and hope to, you know, do some other videos between now and then. But if I don't, why, appreciate you watching, and I hope your travels are as much fun and enjoyable as mine. Thanks so much. A couple of little side notes is I actually built my own little stand here for the kayak and the GoPro. This is actually a wood clamp, and I bent the wood clamp and put the drilled a hole and put the adapter on there. And I have a swirl type adapter on the GoPro, which I can turn around. It's a little ball type thing on it. Now I've heard people say that little ball thing will actually you know, have problems at some point, but I tie it off with a little string, and just in case something would happen, why, I'd keep my GoPro, it wouldn't go anywhere. The other thing I have is this little case that we found that's waterproof, and has a little foam thing in here. You cut out, or you don't have to cut it out. It's actually got little things on it here that you can get apart and you know, make your own little spaces. I got my charger, extra batteries, different types of things. I got some variety of things in here, and just a good little case. It's got a rubber seal right around it, so when you get out there, if you happen to tip over or whatever, well, it's going to float, and it's not gonna, you're not gonna lose all your stuff. So anyway, that's one thing that I've got going. And just so you know, we Mike and I both have the Aquabound carbon paddles, and these come apart. It's pretty easy to come apart. You just pull that across there. Yeah, you're not gonna, anyway, it slides apart. You can see where it slides apart there, and goes into two pieces, so it makes it easy to store it. I got rear storage here, and we'll open it up just a little bit. I got some stuff in there that you know, just don't really use very much, but in case I need it, well, I got it. There's a spray skirt in there that if it gets really, really rough, well, I would, you know, stop and pull that out. And we use the rudder system, and you can see that it has a little clip that goes on here, holds the rudder in place when you're traveling. And I think that's a very advantageous type tool. This is a Wilderness Systems, in case you didn't know. And then we got a front storage there. And when we're on a long trip, why we fill up our storage compartments with all of our gear and tents and cooking gear and all that sort of thing. When I'm just out on a little trip like this, I just have a little bag like this that has my food and drinks in there, and it works out pretty well. So just a quickie to tell you, you know, what we have and what we use. This is a NRS pump, and if you ever, you know, tip over, while you're going to have water in there, and you can get it back up straight and pump out the water. We have an adjustable seat here, which is pretty cool on this unit. It goes up and down, so you can adjust it to your back, and then it also has straps here that you can adjust it forward or backwards. The seat also will come up and down, this little thing here, and so you can raise it up and down to whatever you like. So anyway, that's a quick rendition of what we have, and just thought you might be interested. This boat is, I'm thinking maybe a 2014 or 15 or something like that. I got that from a place in Cincinnati, and it had never been used, but we bought it like 2 years ago, so that would have been 2018. Got a really good deal because it is an older model. Alrighty, we'll catch you later.